right. Hello, everyone, and good evening. How we doing? All right. That was great. We had Dave get everyone's attention. You all are the most compliant Golden Eagle crowd we've ever had, like seated before we were even ready. We give you the 5-minute warning, then usually we come in, we give another warning, and it still takes another 5 minutes to get you all seated. So anyway, great to have you all here. Really looking forward to a wonderful evening. Celebrating our 30th Golden Eagle Awards, and let's see a show of hands if you have been to a Golden Eagle Awards banquet before. All right, so a little more than half the room, but definitely a lot of newcomers too, and parents who are here that are like, what is this all about? And apparently my daughter or my son won some incredible award, and yes, they did. Tonight we are here to celebrate the best and the brightest of Westmont student athletes. The student athletes getting recognized tonight have really excelled in all areas that we ask our student athletes to. Obviously, that's in the classroom first. It's also on the athletic fields or courts or pool or whatever field of surface of play that they are on. But also, we ask them to just be upstanding citizens, great contributors to the college in their choices and their actions, their character, their leadership. And if you are getting one of these awards tonight, you are here because you have really stood out in all of those areas, and it is worth celebrating. So that is our main reason that we are here. But as I mentioned, it is a very big year for the Golden Eagle because this is actually our 30th. So we've been doing this for 3 decades. And I definitely was not here at the start, but I've been here for almost 2/3 of those. I'm creeping up on 20, it'll be 20th year at Westmont. But being here for that time, I can just tell you that this is a time of year, right, where it's spring, we all have so much going on, student athletes have a lot going on, and lots of buzz on campus as we prepare for end of the year activities. But this is a night where we get to pause and we get to breathe and we get to remember why we do what we do as an athletic department at Westmont. And the idea for this came 30 years ago and probably a little bit before that, when Pete and Gerd Giordano were having a conversation with Dave and Helene Winter, presidents at the time, and they were just discussing, what are things that we should celebrate and ways to honor the best, and this is what sprang from that was that. And I was just having a little chat with Gerd beforehand, and having done this for 3 decades doesn't mean that we're old or that you're old, Gerd. It means that you started when you were really young. That's what it means. And just both of you, we are just so grateful for the role that you've played, both in having this idea and conceiving of this event to begin with, and then helping sustain it over the years, both with your support in organizing it, as well as financially helping support it and make it happen for us. And so, as we've discussed, 30 years being a time where you're ready to pass the reins on to us as we move forward. But we are so grateful for 3 decades of support of this initiative, and will always be part of your legacy that you have left and brought to us. And we just want to start off the night. I thought, okay, where are we going to put this in the program? And I just thought, first things first, start and lead with gratitude. And so Pete and Gerd, we are so grateful for having your support of this over the last 3 decades. We're going to make your last one here the best one yet. And if you could come on up here, Gerd, we've got just a little something to say thank you, and would love to give you an opportunity to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yes, it's amazing. 30 years. How did that happen and how they go so fast? But they tend to. Some of you were not even born then, which is hard to believe, but it's the truth. So my husband Pete asked me to speak on his behalf about this moment, his 30-year anniversary hosting the Westmont Golden Eagle Awards dinner since 1994. I wanted to give it a year, 30 years before. Pete has always loved sports. He introduced sports in my life, and I have loved it also with him. It's just been so enjoyable, and we've met so many wonderful people through sports. But Pete was never an athlete himself. However, he was a Dodger bat boy. So that was a pretty significant happening for him. And was when he was a little boy, and when they had their farm team in Santa Barbara, long ago, a dream job for many young boys. We have always had a great admiration for the discipline it takes to be a scholar athlete. Of you folks that are getting awards tonight, we applaud you greatly. The long hours that you spend studying and the many hours dedicated to excelling in your sport. We have enjoyed the blessings of special relationships with the Westmont coaches, plus administrators, and many professors and staff. A huge blessing for us. These 30 years have gone by too fast, but they have. And some of you out there can identify. It has been a privilege and a great pleasure to have hosted this annual event for these 3 decades. Thank you, and God bless everyone here tonight. Thank you.
All right, it's about time for you to eat, but I'm gonna pray for the food. You know, every year at this event, I tell you all about the theme that we had for this year. And Coach Ruiz and Kirsten put their heads together and came up with this great visual. It was the Pando tree. Did I get that right? Pando. Pando tree. And it's the largest living organism, 47,000 trunks in Utah, millions of leaves, all connected by one root system. So our theme for this year was Rooted to Rise. And our goal for our athletes was to really focus on the foundation that root system gives them. It also, we talked about rising meant taking personal responsibility. And we talked about if we were going to flourish and thrive, that we needed to be growth-minded and growth-focused. And we leaned into a verse, and I'm going to just pray this verse to get us started in eating our food. It's from the words of Paul to the Ephesians in Ephesians 3. Let's pray. So that Christ may dwell in our hearts through faith, that we, being rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that we may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen.
All right. You're going to enjoy your salads, and then as the main courses are coming out, Coach Ruiz is going to come up and get us started with our program.
First, it is okay to eat your meal while our coaches and athletes are coming up and sharing. We're used to eating our meals on long bus rides and in team meetings, and this is just par for the course for us. First, On housekeeping items for the evening, restrooms are just out the door to my left, your right, down the hall, and then to your right if you need to get up and go at any point. Just wanted everyone to know where those are. If you got a parking pass when you came in and parked in the parking lot, you do not need to get that validated. The parking gates will open for you when you leave tonight, and the parking should be covered. We have a bit of a change in our format, so before my opening remarks, I'll just let you know how this is going to go tonight. Our coaches are aware of this. Hopefully our athletes are aware of this, but I'll just remind everyone. So in your programs, on the inside of the back cover, we have a list of our award recipients, and on the left column, we will go from the top to the bottom, and then we'll go to the right column. So if you're wondering when the person you're here to see is going, or for coaches and athletes, that's how you'll know your order. And the one thing that we're changing this year is that our coaches will not get formal introductions. They will come up with their athletes following the one before, because as our athletic program has expanded and grown, we now have 15 teams in our athletic department, which means for the 30th year, for the first time ever, we have 30 speakers, which is kind of an odd coincidence. Before I bring up our first coach, as I said, as your meals come out, enjoy your meal. Please know that you can get up if you need to. We will continue with the program to be mindful of your time. First, to the athletes. It is just such an honor and a privilege for me to serve the college in this role, to have the opportunity to lead this department, to work with your coaches, and to work alongside you. It's been such a privilege to get to know members of different teams in this department. For my first 13 years at the college, I was our baseball coach. And in this last 2 years, as we moved into Division II, it's just been such an honor to get to know our coaches on a deeper level and athletes from all of our teams, and just recognize just how special of a place Westmont is and how special of a program this can be. So to the athletes, I just want to commend you personally. You represent the best and brightest of what we do, and for you to receive this honor, you're joining 3 decades of Westmont Warriors who had a chance to sit in your seat and to be recognized on an evening like tonight. And it is no small feat. This is a tremendous accomplishment, and I commend each and every one of you. To our coaches and to our athletic administrative staff, I just want to personally thank you for your relentless commitment to serving the mission of the college and pursuing excellence. It's been an honor to serve alongside each of you. The work that you put in, often behind the scenes, the late hours and early mornings, it goes unnoticed, but the good things, the good fruits that are coming out of your labor are evident, and it's such an honor and a privilege to work with you. I'm thankful for each of you and the work that you have done to make nights like tonight what they are. Just in the last 24 hours, men's tennis completed a win at home for their senior day, a final match at home of the year, and coach sprinted down the hill with his athlete to get here on time. Baseball got back on a bus, I think, at about 2 a.m. from Fresno last night. These are the lives we live. We love it, and it's such a privilege, as I said. To the fans, the parents, the faculty, alumni, and supporters, thank you for being here, being a part of this with us tonight. This is such a special evening, and the fact that you would share this with us means the world to our athletes, our staff, and to the college. Just a few brief remarks on our transition to the NCAA. It's been going so well. It's amazing what we've accomplished in just about 2 years. I'm so proud of our athletes and their contributions to putting us in a position where when we're getting our second year report, there are phrases like Westmont is establishing a model Division II compliance program. That was in our year 2 report. And it almost blew my mind, but I shouldn't be surprised. Those are the types of people that we get to work with. The report we got on our visit was fantastic, and we continue to make progress toward our goals. On top of that, our student athletes in the fall semester achieved collectively over a cumulative 3.2 GPA. And those of you that know Westmont academics and the rigor that's involved in being a successful student here understand what an accomplishment that is. And so when some have questioned how will the move into the NCAA change our identity, we assured everyone going into it that it wouldn't. And I'm so proud of our coaches and our athletes that they have proven that we can continue to value the things that are our priorities and keep the main things the main things. And lastly, I'd like to recognize our executive team, our president and vice presidents that have joined us here this evening. If you wouldn't mind, E-team members, could you just stand and be recognized for a moment so we could say thank you for your support of athletics? We have the privilege of working under a leadership team that is full of thoughtful leaders who support and believe in athletics and truly partner in our success. And to do what we do, it takes the entire institution to understand the value of what collegiate athletics brings to the table, and then to walk alongside us to figure out how to do it well. And it's been such a privilege for us to have the chance to work with our E-team and other members of leadership in the college to lead us into this transition to Division II and to continue the legacy that we've built in athletics at Westmont College. So again, thank you for being with us tonight. Remember, continue to have your meals. Here, our coaches and our athletes, we want to save the time for them because they are who we are here tonight to celebrate and to honor. And with that, I'd like to invite women's swimming to kick us off tonight.
Hello. Well, it really is no surprise that Ella Chasen would be selected for this award for women's swimming. Ella has touched so many areas of this campus and has truly immersed herself in the Westmont experience, all the while doing it in record time and graduating in 3 years. With a very full academic workload, training schedule, volunteering, and working with our sports information department, Ella has also contributed greatly to our team culture as team captain and resolute leader. As a student, Ella pursued greatness in the classroom and thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to be a student at Westmont. As a team, we share what we're grateful for each day at practice, and 99% of the time, Ella shares about that she's grateful for a class that she's taking or an influential professor that has really inspired her, like Goodworth, Affman, and Wolfie. She fully invested in her academic career here at Westmont, and it shows with her accelerated timeline and early graduation as a junior. This came by a surprise to both of us, and her reasoning was, "I'm sorry, Jill, I just got so excited to take classes that I just signed up for 20 units every semester, unintentionally." Even with this heavy academic workload, Ella always seemed to have more hours in the day than anyone else. And with all of that, she excelled in the pool. As a first year, Ella finished 4th at the Pacific Collegiate Swim and Dive Conference in the 200-yard breaststroke, and at NAIA Nationals a few weeks later, placed 6th in the 200-yard individual medley and 200-yard breaststroke, and had an insane final swim to secure a 2nd place finish in the 400 individual medley, arguably the hardest event. Her remaining 2 seasons included 5 top 8 finishes in the PCSC and a 3rd place finish at our final NAIA Nationals last year. During her time at Westmont, she set 10 program records, 7 individual and 3 relays, and had massive time improvements in many of her events. But her impact wasn't limited to the classroom or the pool. Ella never missed an opportunity to be involved in all that Westmont has to offer. If any of you have watched a Westmont sporting event on live stream, there's a good chance that Ella was behind the camera, operating it and cheering on her fellow warriors from the sidelines. Thankfully, the swim team was lucky enough to have her, and her biggest contribution was her resolute leadership and desire to leave our team in a better place than she found it. Ella has held herself to a high standard and has graciously brought others alongside her to do the same. And because of this, even if Ella isn't on our team any longer, her legacy lives on in the lives of her teammates because she has equipped and inspired them to be all in and has shown them what it means to give all you have to offer every day. Ella, I'm so proud of you. Supporting you as you develop into this amazing woman and athlete has been incredibly inspiring. Thank you for sharing your deep passion for literally everything with those around you. You are inspiring.
I remember talking to Jill and the team maybe once or twice before I signed, but from the first time I talked to them on a FaceTime call, I knew it was a program I wanted to be a part of. Jill can probably attest to this, but I'm someone who will analytically break down something as simple as swimming, which is just going back and forth for minutes of pond end. I never really knew how to get out of this closed box thinking until I met some of my teammates, some of whom are here today, who found joy and love for the sport, which is something I was missing. Being a part of the Westmont swimming program these last 3 years has taught me valuable lessons on how to be strong in my faith, in the pool, and in the classroom. Jill has been one of my main role models on how to live out our core values, which is to be a strong, humble woman of character, and how to be firm in our faith. Jill not only pushes us to be better in the pool, but also how to deepen our relationship with Christ, and this is something I've never had a coach push me towards. All the women who have come through our program have built it up from literally nothing 5 years ago. They've planted seeds in our program that foster growth of character, faith, performance, and grit that will last a lifetime. I am not only honored to have been given this opportunity to be here at Westmont and receive this award, but to also be a part of a program as special as this one. I couldn't have completed my swimming journey without the immense support from everyone in my life, my parents, teammates, Jill, Eric, Greg. Thank you for all that you do and all the support you have given me.
Well, good evening. I'm Russell Smelly. I get the honor of coaching cross country and track and field. And tonight, introducing Simeon Michelson. Simeon's a history major, an Augustinian scholar, captain of our cross country team that went to nationals this year to finish second. So these are the words I wrote about him. Simeon is a consummate team encourager. He is a resolute and determined athlete. He is a bright and engaging scholar with a winsome laugh. He is traveling the world in search of knowledge and wisdom and is spreading the love of Jesus Christ in his interactions with others. He also race walks. He has enough self-esteem to race walk. And the fact that, he's overcome the fact that his body doesn't always cooperate with him, with his joints and everything, and he just keeps at it all the time. And he's always in search of someone to walk with. He went to Cairo semester and he found a race walk group where they spoke no English except to tell him on the race day, your blood will be on the pavement today. Not literally, thank goodness. But he's applied and can go to Morocco to learn Arabic. He can teach English in
Azerbaijan.
Thank you. And he can even communicate in English in Nashville, Tennessee. He is an erudite man, a lovely man who encourages others, because even when he couldn't do, he made sure others could. And it's been so fun to watch him do all he could this spring when his health didn't allow it, to do what he could and run 2 personal bests in the 800 meters this spring, and to also try a 20-kilometer race walk, which is beyond comprehension of me. So thank you, Simeon, for all you do.
Thank you. As I crossed the finish line, a champion in the snow divine, with a broken leg but spirit whole, I've won the race and reached my that's actually the speech I almost wrote using ChatGPT. I asked it, I thought it would be impressive. Maybe if I won a race in the snow with a broken leg or something. But the first 2 lines of the poem were here in this poem, in the snow I stand, with a broken leg I stand. I thought that's not going to work. Close your eyes with me for a second and picture yourself at the national championships. You have just 2 laps to go and your legs are beginning to burn. Gasping for breath, you dig deep for the final push. You round the turn, you hear an official yelling. You think maybe he's cheering. You hear his words, step off the track. Get off the track now. You're confused, you're angry. You step off the track and you learn that you've been disqualified at the national championships. Now imagine that this happens to you not just 1 year, but 2 years in a row. Who in their right mind would keep trying and failing like that? Or a better question, what kind of sport would disqualify athletes in the middle of a race so regularly? The sport in question is race walking, or as my friends call it, the weird uncle of track and field. Often misunderstood, quirky, and neglected, race walking, maybe commonly known as speed walking, is a sport like no other. It takes the cadence of a sprinter, the endurance of a distance athlete, and the technique of a pole vaulter to succeed. Race walk has two simple rules. One, keep one foot on the ground at all times, and two, keep your knee straight from the point of contact till vertical. Because of its unique form, race walking can feel embarrassing or goofy at times. When I first learned to walk, I would go to the Westmont track late at night so no one could see me. On top of that, each race has judges scrutinizing your form, sort of like professors grading your exam. Now you might ask, how did I fall in love with such a wonderful sport? I spent all of my freshman year out with a stress fracture. I was looking for a way to contribute to the track team and compete at an elite level and make the national championships. At first, I could barely make it 100 meters. The harder I tried, the more my shins hurt. When I tensed my shoulders, I began to bounce up and down. I learned that race walk is a sport where you have to relax if you want to go fast. As athletes, our natural inclination is to work harder, to do more, to get it right the next time. When I came to Westmont, I had a sense that I had to work hard, but I didn't know how to rest. On my Cairo program, I met a race walk team, and I thought, I'm going to really impress these guys. I've got a 5K today that I'm going to run with them. I woke up with the flu, and I thought, okay, I've just got to work hard. I'm going to push through and impress them. I come around on the second lap. I look down at my watch, 16:30. I'm going to set my PR. Across the finish line, cheering and waving. I'm like, wow, I did that with the flu. Everyone goes by. There's a whole nother lap to go. At this point in my journey, I knew the importance of consistency, but I didn't understand the importance of grace and gratitude. Just 4 weeks ago, I was faced with yet another frustrating setback. I'd been disqualified in my 20K at the U.S. National Championships. I'd walked 25 laps around the track, only to be disqualified. My knee was bothering me again. It looked like my senior season was going to be ending in disappointment and frustration. Following the meet, I came back to Westmont with one more goal. I thought, if I can break the school 3K record in the race walk, this could be the moment where my season turns around. After the first kilometer, I knew it was going to happen. My knee was already hurting, and I wasn't going to make it around. At that moment, I had to choose. Was I going to walk off the track in frustration or take positive action? In that moment, I chose to help a teammate and to help a friend. That meet, I paced a girl from the Masters University. Even though I couldn't keep up at my pace, I helped her set the race walk record in 5K for her school, and I helped my teammate Will set his own record. It was at that meet that, after that meet, Will talked to me and he said that, it didn't really matter if we got back to campus in time for our event, because he said, this race, this is the fun stuff. And it was from Will and his perspective that I learned that it doesn't matter if you try hard if you're not having fun, if you don't have the ability to rest and give yourself grace. I thought I wanted championships and records, but what I needed was a purpose and a community to care about. Westmont Athletics has taught me the value of sticking with the sport amidst the ups and downs. In this process, I've learned to grow sustainably and to be gentle with myself. I knew I could do hard work coming into Westmont, but now I will graduate as an athlete who can relax and run fast in the knowledge that this is the fun stuff. To conclude, if I were to rewrite that ChatGPT poem, I would say, as I cross the finish line, I rest in your grace divine, Lord. With a broken heart but spirit whole, you have won the race and helped me reach my goal. Thank you.
Annaline Breitenbach is the award recipient for women's cross country. When Annaline approached us about running cross country, Russell and I were hesitant to let this girl who talked a lot about her love for tennis to join the team late in the fall. But Annaline showed us that she is a fierce competitor with ample determination and we knew we wanted her running in a Westmont uniform. If you look at Annaline's college career, her most notable running accolades came in her first 2 years, including a conference championship and multiple All-American performances. Much of her success was the result of her trying to prove her worth through performance. She has always been a kind and delightful human being, but her confidence came from the reassurance of performance outcomes. And as often happens in one's career, setbacks and injuries occur, and there's a rebuilding process. For Annaline, that rebuilding process wasn't just physical. It was also about growth and how she sees herself. As a senior, she knows who she is, she's comfortable with that person, and can recognize why we have always loved her. Running isn't to prove anything other than the fact that she loves to compete, and now when she runs, she finds enjoyment and joy in what her body is able to do. Here's Annaline.
Runner. That title still feels foreign to me. Daughter, sister, friend, student, athlete, and even soccer and tennis player all feel much more comfortable rolling off my tongue. Nevertheless, after 4 years of running collegiately, I guess runner can be added to the list of roles that make up my identity. If you know me, you know that I'm a planner and anti-procrastinator. So, when I decided to come to Westmont instead of UCLA the week before classes started freshman year, I certainly shocked my family as well as myself. As someone who has played sports my entire life, I was familiar with finding my community on a sports team. While I knew it was too late to join the tennis or soccer team, I was desperate to find belonging. In the whirlwind that accompanied adjusting to college life, I made one more decision that was out of character in some ways. I asked Coach Smelly if I could join the cross-country team mid-season, although my only competitive running experience was 1 year on the sprints team in high school. Romans 5:3-5 captures a role that being a student athlete has played in contributing to my identity formation. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. It's no wonder that Paul often uses running as a metaphor in describing how Christians are to pursue their relationship with Christ. We go into each workout and competition knowing that it's going to hurt, yet hopeful and expectant that we will hit that PR and get into that flow state when the world just starts to stand still. And even when this doesn't happen, I have found the lessons learned in my disappointment are still worth it. Racing has functioned similarly to my chemistry laboratories, as it has created an environment that applies controlled pressure to direct a formation reaction. However, instead of creating an organic molecule, the product is instead more resilient character. As I reflect on these last 4 years, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I am thankful for parents who have supported all my crazy decisions, traveled across the country with me to cheer me on, and walked with me in disappointment. I'm grateful for coaches who took a chance on a random last-minute girl. Coach Smelly, you have always proved, both in your words and actions, that you care for me more as a person than as an athlete. And Coach C, you have always believed in me. I'm grateful to have you both as both mentors and friends. I'm grateful for professors who have collaborated with me as I navigate my commitments as both a student and athlete, and friends who have laughed and hoped with me along the way. I will forever be grateful for the Westmont community who has forged me into who I am today. Thank you.
It's my honor tonight to introduce the men's basketball Golden Eagle winner, Jarrett Bryant. we call him JB, so I'll be referring to him as JB tonight. JB is a sophomore here at Westmont, but he's a first year here at Westmont. And I remember your visit was last year in this time, I believe in April. And I remember sitting with him and over lunch and just thinking to myself, we gotta get this guy. And obviously because of his basketball abilities, and I'm not really gonna talk about his basketball abilities tonight, but it's more about who he was and the family that he comes from, who represents everything that our program wants to be. Hard work, commitment, loyalty, trust. And you've given everything that I just named and way more in your first year. Jarrett came from 2 other four-year institutions before he came to Westmont. And he came in with a 3.2 or a 3.3 GPA, I believe. And they're good schools, they're good institutions, but they weren't Westmont. And it is just so uncommon to see what he has done in his first year as a transfer to basically being almost a 4.0 student here at Westmont. And that's uncommon because usually when you go to institutions in college, you develop standards and kind of a bar of what it takes to be a good student. Then you come to Westmont, it's way harder, and sometimes you get rocked with the reality of Westmont. And I've been thinking about you, JB, all day today because I knew that I was going to introduce you, and I've been thinking about a lot of players and athletes in the past couple of decades, and I would even throw myself in this bucket too, of once you graduate from Westmont, you have such a deep love for this place because you see the growth, you see how you were challenged and where you were developed while being here. It's hard to have that kind of treasure in this place while you're in it because you're stressed, tons of pressure, you're challenged. But with Jarrett, I would like, just from the first meetings we've had since you were here, I would say, hey man, like, how you doing? You know, how's it going so far at Westmont? He's like, Coach, I love it here. This feels like home to me. I love it here. I love my coaches. I love my teammates. I love the professors here. And I think that one of the main reasons why you're developing so much off the floor is because you are living in a sense of gratitude. And I feel it every day. And it's spreading throughout our team too. And so Jarrett, I love this award for you because you have 2 more years for us. And I'm so thankful that I'm going to have your family here for 2 more years and have you for 2 more years. Love you to death, love your family, and just super proud of you, man. Here's Jarrett.
First things first, I just want to graciously thank my coaches, my teammates, faculty, and everybody at Westmont that supported me this year. As Coach said, this is my third college in 3 years, and which is kind of crazy, but it feels like I've been here for all 3 years. Like I was just accepted immediately, which is something I didn't expect because my other schools, it was never like this. My parents have always prioritized academics with me, and to be honest, I've struggled to maintain those standards from time to time. I know they were definitely worried when I said I was going to go to college 800 miles away, and that I would get distracted and struggle. But my teammates helped me stay focused, as well as my coaches, and I committed to be the best representation of myself in the classroom. I've been truly blessed to be part of such a special family here at Westmont. One of the best decisions I made in my life so far is taking my visit with Coach Boucher in April of 2023, a year ago, and then committing to come here. I'm grateful every day to learn, experience new interactions, and develop as a young man, and take on a leadership role on and off the court. I'm extremely excited for the upcoming season, and I look forward to representing Westmont to the best of my ability. And lastly, I just want to thank my parents, my dad for always pushing me to be the best in all facets of my life, and my mom for always giving me her love, support, and guidance, even when I didn't know I needed it, or even when I didn't want it. I would also like to thank my sister for all her encouragement over the years. And I want to thank my girlfriend Lily and my roommate Mason for putting up with me and always having my back. And lastly, I got to thank God for getting me here and putting me in the best position I could ask for. I really do feel blessed to be here. I'm still growing and maturing, but I know I'm in the best place to continue my journey. Thank you.
Taylor Disterberg is one of the hardest working volleyball players that I've ever been around. She works on and off the court to be the best version of herself during practices, matches, in the weight room, and in the classroom. Taylor is proving to be a leader by setting a high example of work ethic while also developing leadership skills to mentor other warriors. Taylor's recruiting was unique. She came to our prospect camp. However, the bulk of her recruiting communication was during the COVID shutdown. When she arrived on campus for a workout and visit, I asked her how she felt. Taylor's response was, "It feels like home." Taylor has certainly made Westmont College her home for these last 3 years. She has blossomed into an amazing middle hitter, and this year in the Pac-West Conference, she made her biggest mark. She ended the season 5th in hitting percentage with a .324 average, was 4th in blocking with 124 blocks, was second team All Pac-West, a National Christian College Athletic Association All-West Region player, and the West Region Player of the Year. Taylor is a kinesiology major with a 3.77 GPA. She has been a 4-time Dean's List member, a member of SAC, is involved in many health and wellness clubs on campus, and has been on the medical team at Potter's Clay. Taylor truly is a gift to our program. Thank you for contributing to the success of this program. Your sacrifice, work ethic, investment of time and talent has made us better. We are fortunate to have you for another season, and I am excited to see what God has planned for our team and for you in the season ahead. Taylor, congratulations on earning the Golden Eagle Award for Westmont College Volleyball.
Thank you, Coach Ruth, and thank you to everyone who has worked to make this evening of celebration possible for all the athletes. Thank you to those who have poured into us over the years, including our wonderful professors. This night is to celebrate you as well. Thank you to all my coaches. Coach Ruth, Coach Sarah, and Coach Laura have been my most prominent mentors since I've started my journey at Westmont. They are some of my biggest supporters and counselors, and they have challenged me to grow in ways I've never imagined as an incoming freshman. To my parents, the words "thank you" just scratch the surface of the gratitude I have for you. Thank you for walking with me through moments of joy and times filled with life difficulties. I know that no matter where I am in life, you will always be in my corner. When I reflect on the 3 years I have spent at Westmont, I'm struck with one word that encompasses the lessons the Lord has taught me through athletics. This word is selflessness. The day-to-day of being an athlete requires nothing less than a selfless attitude and a selfless lifestyle. Everything an athlete does behind the scenes is an act of selflessness, directed towards success. This lifestyle is particularly hard because those sacrifices don't always show. At face value, one might say that being selfless is just what it takes to be a good athlete. I would like to argue that God has a bigger plan for teaching us to be selfless. I think selflessness is fulfilling more than just your athletic potential, but your potential as a believer and follower of Christ. Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but to each of you the interests of the others." Each time we commit ourselves to our team, coaches, and sport, we practice the selflessness that Jesus asks of us. Our team verse this season was from Jeremiah 15:20. "And I will make you to this people a fortified bronze wall, and they will fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you." We knew entering D2 would be a challenge, but we also knew that if we embodied the image of a bronze wall, no difficulty could destroy us. The only way we were able to maintain this was by being selfless and raising the needs of the team over our own. I encourage you all to continue being selfless in whatever you do next, whether you're retiring from your sport or still have years to give, because our time as athletes is a God-given opportunity for growth. Thank you.
Logan Thompson's golden heart for his team has never been more clear to me than after a tough loss to MSU Denver this year. While our heads were hanging down, Captain Logan said to the team, "I'd rather lose with all of you great friends and teammates than win with any other team." These words, especially coming from a champion like Logan, who is accustomed to victory, meant more to the team than anything that could have been said. As golden as his heart is, Logan's athletic career has soared high as tennis accolades include 3-time All-Conference, 2-time MVP, national rankings in both singles and doubles, a clutch win in a third-set tiebreaker last year to clinch and send the team to the GSAC finals, and a winning record in our first year in the Pac West. As a student, Logan is diligent, meticulous, and purposeful, achieving a 3.6 GPA while majoring in economics and business with a minor in psychology. As an athlete, he is fiercely competitive, dissecting his opponents with an amazing shot variety, using his sharp talons with deft touch and precise power when needed. He grasps his prey with acute angle placements and devastating down-the-line attacks with his world-class two-handed backhand. I watched him dismantle a Pepperdine player this year in the fall, clawing his way back from a 6-0 deficit in the first set to win in 3. It is a joy to watch the grandeur and grace of Logan swooping across the court to victory. Logan, it has been a privilege coaching you and seeing your Christian witness lift up all those around you. Congratulations, Logan Thompson, Golden Eagle Award for men's tennis.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to start by saying I'm very honored to receive this award alongside all the talented athletes here around me. Writing this speech has come with a lot of reflection on my time here at Westmont, and it's been easy to realize that I'm a very different person than who I was when I stepped foot on campus for the first time 4 years ago. Before beginning college, I was sort of stumbling through life. I didn't know what I wanted to do or who I wanted to be. I didn't have a solid foundation in faith, and I chose Westmont primarily due to the opportunity to continue playing tennis. I had no expectations for what my experience at Westmont might bring. The first thing that I noticed when I arrived at Westmont was how different the culture was from anything I'd experienced before. Right away, I was being welcomed into the tennis team by players that were older than me and better than me, and instead of looking down on me, I could tell that my teammates were genuinely excited to get to know me. On top of this, part of the team culture was praying before every practice. As someone who was disconnected from my faith, at first I was confused. Why are we asking God to bless our time together as a team every single day and praying for each other? Luckily, I had teammates and coaches that were open about their love for the Lord and pursued conversation about it with me. This community and prayer helped to bring my faith out of a place of stagnancy and into a place where it's continued to grow throughout my time at Westmont. I also owe the tennis team at Westmont for being the center of some of my favorite memories from my time here. A few of these were making the finals of the NAIA Regional Doubles Tournament with Ethan Ha and finishing second place in GSAC rankings last season. But most of all, my favorite memories have been all the in-between moments with the team, such as spending time in hotels on overnight trips or grabbing meals after practice. I'm super thankful to have been a part of this group of brothers. I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me in every step of life and always encouraging me to be the best version of myself. I'd also like to thank Coach Elwood, Coach Basham, and Coach Ryan for creating the amazing culture that we have on the tennis team. Finally, I want to thank all the teammates I've had during my time here. Leaders, Benny and Ethan, who embody what the phrase servant leadership means in their actions, my closest friends, Michael and Owen, who I've shared countless amazing memories with, and everyone on my current team who I've grown so close throughout this year and who are always uplifting. I want to close with a verse that I've held close to my heart recently. The Apostle Peter writes in 1 Peter 3:15, "But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect." This is a verse that my teammates and coaches embodied when I first arrived at Westmont. To this day, I try to live out this verse to the best of my abilities by striving to honor God with all my actions on and off the tennis court, as well as being open to share about my faith with anyone that asks. Thank you.
Well, hello. My name is Kate Pearson, and I'm our head women's tennis coach. And tonight I have the joy of introducing our Golden Eagle, Miss Sophia Ostavani. Athletically, Sophia has had a strong impact on our program since she walked onto our team during the fall of her freshman year. In her 3 years so far, she's contributed at every position in our lineup, within singles and doubles, playing with several different partners. In a sport that is incredibly individualistic, Sophia has shown to be a true team player. Academically, she is a very strong student, posting one of the best GPAs on our team. And while she is naturally gifted with an intelligent mind, she also works very, very hard, something I'll talk more about in a bit. She uses her academic strengths to benefit others, helping her teammates and also working as a member of the Writers' Corner tutoring resource that's offered on campus. Now I get to speak about the most important part, who Sophia is as a person. As a high achiever, Sophia commits herself fully to everything that she pursues. It's not the outcomes or her successes that make her special. It's her work ethic, her grind, and her investment in the process that is most significant about her. More important than having a high drive to succeed, Sophia has a high drive to work hard. Whether it's an academic assignment, a team practice, or a for fun one-on-one with me that she asks for often, it could be a just for fun spin cycling class, it could be her sticker book hobby, which is pretty unique, or the amazing cupcakes she bakes, or her investment in friends and her family. I know that whatever Sophia is doing, with certainty, she's giving it her all. When I think of Sophia, I think of high effort, hard work, and investment. Sophia, I'm gonna give you one of my favorite compliments. You're a try-hard. You have shown more vulnerability, commitment, and you've dared greater than I could have hoped or imagined. I've watched you overcome so many challenges and face so many highs and lows, and I'm so excited for a future. I've seen that more with you. You are a warrior. Thank you for your commitment to our team.
Firstly, thank you everyone for being here today. I'm extremely honored to represent the women's tennis team and to be amongst all of these amazing high-level athletes and coaches. So thank you to all who put this event together. To briefly flash back to last year, for me, 2023 was a year that brought about many challenges and changes in my life that often left me doubting what my path would look like moving forward. While my intentions were good and my goals were an attempt to extract the best performance out of myself, my sometimes obsessive mindset was unsustainable and at times a bit destructive for me. Nothing I did felt like it was good enough, and I started to become a bit burned out from things that previously gave me joy. If I did not meet my high expectations, then it felt like a failure. And as you guys can probably imagine, this sucked out the joy from my life. It ultimately led to the need for a major reset in my life that led me to take last fall semester off so I could go back to the drawing board regarding the way that I lived, trained, along with learning to develop more healthy expectations of myself and how to surrender to the process and things that I cannot control. It was during this time where I was recapturing my positive mental health and joy surrounding tennis and school, where I became more grateful than ever for the strong support system surrounding me. Abruptly halting my athletic and academic career was obviously an extremely hard decision to make, and it would have been easy for my loved ones to steer me back to the more conventional path. Instead, they stood by me 100% during a time where I needed them more than ever, and I'm going to be forever grateful for that. I'm thankful to everyone who made themselves available for me and urged me to express my struggles rather than closing myself off like I have done in the past. I have so much gratitude for those few months I was able to take for myself, and I'm even more grateful to all my teammates and to Coach Cade for supporting me throughout that time and for welcoming me back with open arms once I returned to campus. To expand on that, thank you so much, Coach, for your dedicated mentorship these past 3 years and for all of the valuable lessons that you have taught me and the team about tennis, life, and faith. I'm looking forward to our final year together next year. To my family, specifically my parents, because they're sitting in the back there right now, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for your unconditional love and unwavering support through my highest highs and lowest lows. Thank you for always holding me accountable and for letting me make mistakes, learn from them, and grow during this transitional period of my life. You both are the best parents I could ever ask for, and this award is just as much your doing as it is mine. 2024 feels like a complete shift for me compared to last year, and this prestigious award represents a change in my mentality as I continue on my journey to be more accepting of myself and focus on representing Westmont and the women's tennis team in a positive way that goes beyond my record on court. Thank you once again for giving me the chance of being here tonight.
You swerved me.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler Latore. I'm the baseball coach here at Westmont. I have the pleasure and gratitude to introduce Aiden Hawley. As the season has almost reached an end, I've come to the realization that we're only 3 weeks away from Aiden playing his final game in a Warrior uniform, and in less than a month graduating with honors with a 3.9 GPA and a double major. However, Aiden's legacy and impact on this program will live on for years and years. The word legacy has been talked about in our program a lot. It started with Coach Ruiz and continues on today. However, it's not just a word or a feeling. It is something that is lived, tangible, and evident whenever you interact with any of our alumni or current players. Aiden has learned he has learned what leaving a legacy looks like, and he lives it today. It's all a part of his aesthetic. The maturation that I've seen over the last 2 years with Aiden on the baseball field is something to be admired. It wasn't easy. It wasn't something that that came naturally. It was something that he strived every day, and it took accountability for himself and his teammates. The life of a middle reliever is a life of not knowing when you're going to go in the game. Usually the pitchers that get all the attention are the starters and the closers. One of the things we talk about in our program is leave it better for the guy behind you. And that's what Aiden did. And as the season went on last year, he got better and better. He had the opportunity to pitch in some of the biggest games in our school's history. And he did it with intense competitiveness. And as the season went on, I could see the desire to overachieve and write his own legacy. And that's exactly what he did. He got to a point where I was so confident and his teammate were so confident in him that he could probably tell the batter what pitch was coming and still get that guy out. It's real. Yes. Lastly, one would say that Aiden is the kind of person that marches to the beat of his own drum. It just so happens that beat has a little bit of classic rock, a little bit of classical symphony, a touch of gospel, some Dua Lipa, some pop, some reggae, but most of all, it's Aiden. He is the most genuinely authentic young man I've ever coached. He is insanely smart, awesomely witty, caring, and a servant leader. And most of all, he's Westmont made. Congratulations, Aiden.
Thanks, Coach. First off, I just want to thank my family, coaches, teammates, and my professors. These past 4 years at Westmont have been extremely profound in making me the person that I am today. Westmont, and particularly baseball, have not always been easy for me and have genuinely provided me with some of the most challenging moments of my life. It was funny because I was looking at the alumni that won this award before, and I asked a teammate of mine, Ryan Humphreys, if he thought that I'd be mentioned alongside them, and he said no shot. Guys like Drew Baird, Robbie Hobb, Brady Rank, these were guys that as a freshman I could only dream of being 10% like someday. I remember watching them play and everything just looked easy. These guys were the perfect role models for me coming up in the program. So for a little more context into how I got to Westmont, it probably starts when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I remember my dad was convinced that I was going to go pro because I could hit the ball out of the infield off the tee. I lived and breathed baseball. I woke up early every morning just to watch ESPN. And after every tough baseball game, my dad would always say, if you don't believe that you're going to go pro, you're definitely not going to do it. He had a crazy, irrational belief in me, and he wanted me to be just as crazy as him. But by the time my senior year rolled around, it was a little different. I was a stock right-handed pitcher with below average off speed and spotty control, and I had one D3 offer, and for some reason Ruiz and Auntie thought it was a good idea to let me come on board. And so I was ecstatic about that. And it was funny because I told a UCLA commit, one of my teammates in high school, that I was going to Westmont, and he said, oh, that's an NAIA school? You're going to probably start like every single game there. Flash forward to senior year, I've never started. Yeah, we still have senior day, so we don't know about that. But yeah, so safe to say it wasn't going to be super smooth sailing. Freshman, sophomore year were the lowest points of my time at college, both on and off the field. I ended up pitching in just 9 innings, both my freshman and sophomore year. I got a B- in Paul Delaney's English class, which I thought for sure solidified myself out of every grad school imaginable. My best friend on the team, he transferred out at the end of that year, and to cap it off, I struggled so much I didn't make the playoff roster, and I watched our guys make it to Lewiston for the first time in program history from home. I had no sense of direction, I had no identity, I didn't have any belief in my abilities. I questioned what I was even doing at Westmont, let alone what I was doing still playing baseball. I remember I would just pray and hope that something would change, and I felt completely disconnected from God in every way. Then out of nowhere, I got a call from this guy called Tyler LaTorre, asking me if I was ready for this next year. LT was named head coach the summer after my sophomore year, and I wasn't sure if this was a sign to stop playing or if it was a saving grace. When he arrived, it felt like everything was stacked against me. He had new players, new ideas, a new team dynamic. All he really had to do was look at my resume and my body of work, and he probably would have counted me out. But for some reason, he didn't. He didn't care if you were a freshman who he handpicked to be on the team, or a fifth year who did not want to buy into the program at all and didn't really like him all that much. He was going to go out of his way to build a relationship with you and find ways to make you the best you could be. Early that spring season, I remember I vividly came off the mound. I had thrown 2 innings. I walked a couple guys, but I didn't give up any runs, and I was super happy. I was stoked because that was the best I'd ever pitched pretty much ever at Westmont. LT pulled me aside, and he just lit me up for it. He said I needed to have better fastball command, needed to take the games more seriously. LT and the rest of the coaching staff are the kind of coaches that will watch you do good and then expect more. They want you to be a better player, a better friend, a better person than you believe that you could ever be. Slowly as the year went on, I started to think that maybe my coach isn't just some nut job, but maybe he's onto something. For the first time at Westmont, I started to pitch in meaningful innings. My confidence and belief were rising, and I began pitching with the game on the line rather than in a blowout. I was slowly figuring out that the difference between myself sophomore year and junior year wasn't necessarily just one of talent or circumstances, but the difference was one of belief. This wasn't just a mentality that I had, but the entire team had. Every day we spent in Lewiston, LT just kept telling us we had to believe. We had to believe that we not only deserved to be there, but we had to believe that we could beat any team. Even after losing to number 1 ranked Southeastern, we had to play them the next day, and the motto was just believe. Believe that we can do this. This unconditional and oftentimes irrational belief we had in ourselves was the reason we got to where we were and why we were lucky enough to be the last team standing. By the end of the year, instead of watching a dog pile on Russ Carr from home, I got to be in a dog pile in Lewiston. The belief that others had in me, it felt unconditional, and it's a living proof of God's work in my life. It's the same belief that my dad had in me when he saw me first hit off a tee. It's the same belief that LT, Ruiz, Auntie, and Hubs had in me when it felt like they had no reason to. It's a lesson that I'm lucky enough to learn now because of Westmont. Oftentimes the difference between you and the people you aspire to be is just one of belief. I'm so thankful to my parents, coaches, and teammates because through them I was able to learn so many vital lessons I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Thanks.
So as you can see, I'm not coming up in between and introducing, but there are a few things that we like to do throughout this evening. And one of them is just to recognize people that are a part of this process. Talked about the fact that I've been at Westmont almost 20 years now, and year after year, it's just affirmed in me that our best commodity at Westmont is not the amazing place we are, physically, our resources that we have, all of that, but it's the people. The people are the best commodity we have, and there's some people in this room that are a part of that haven't been recognized, and I want to recognize them right now before I get to my Women's Basketball Award winner. The first part of the phrase student athlete is actually that student part, and it would not happen with the excellence that it does if it were not for our incredible faculty that teach, challenge, and mentor our student athletes. And so would you just join me in thanking, we have a number of faculty in the room, as well as our provost who oversees our faculty, Kim Deneau. Would you just join me in a round of applause to thank them? As you hear about each of these stories and a snippet of their journeys, our faculty are a huge part of that, and a huge part of that growth and growth process and life-changing work that happens here at Westmont. I also want to take a moment to thank, we have many assistant coaches that help in our athletic department, and being a smaller college athletic department, they are, a lot of times, well, all of them are underpaid, but a lot of times having 2 or 3 jobs to just make it here and to be able to help pour into our student athletes' lives. A number of them are here in the room as well. And so as a head coach and on behalf of all of the rest of these head coaches, we just want to thank all of you assistant coaches for the role that you play in this process as well. Well, now to our Women's Basketball Award winner, and I am just delighted that Destiny Okonkwo is being recognized tonight for her excellence over the past 4 years. Anyone that is a senior here, you started your journey not at Westmont. You didn't know when you were coming, if you were coming, what was happening. School was shut down. How long were we going to do remote learning? Would you ever follow through and even on that commitment? Could you even ever get to this college that you thought you were going to go to? And about a month of remote learning, but then coming back and just having to be flexible, and for a lot of athletic teams having to stay in our bubbles and not have the normal college experience at all. And in the midst of all that dark and hard, Destiny Okonkwo arrived on campus and has been a bright light, not just for our women's basketball team, but on campus as a leader in SAC, as this year's president, also serving campus in the past as a co-leader of BSU in intercultural programs. She's been a member of our Augustinian program and has also interned in the athletics department this year as well. So she hasn't been busy at all, right? But Destiny is wicked smart, as they would say in some places of this country, yet combines that with a genuine humility and a very witty sense of humor that enables her to add value to every room that she walks into. We recently held our basketball banquet, and I shared that there are so many things that I love about coaching, but probably at the top of the list is that situation where you recruit a student athlete and you see something in them that they maybe don't see in themselves yet, and you help them not just see it in themselves, but become it over the course of their career here. And this has really been my greatest joy with Destiny. From the timid freshman who walked onto campus 4 years ago to the confident and dominant senior that people saw the last month of this season when she returned from injury to dominate, Destiny has learned to believe what God says is true of her, that He did not give her a spirit of timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. We had a month to go in our season, and we had lost more games in a row than any of us care to remember. And I brought our leaders in, of which Destiny was one, and I challenged them to pick one element of our warrior way, how we do things as Westmont women's basketball players, that they were going to be committed to fighting like crazy for this last month of the season. And Destiny chose the phrase, "We will dive for loose balls." And yes, it does mean that we will literally sacrifice our bodies and dive on the basketball court when the ball is loose in order to gain possession for our team. But Destiny talked that day about how she wanted it to be her mindset that in the face of fear, she was going to dive all out with every opportunity that she had left. Going all out physically has never been in question, but Destiny started getting outside her comfort zone and speaking up, leading with her voice, holding others accountable, and that sparked a resurgence in those around her that lifted our team to a point we were barely recognizable to those who had watched us play just a month before. Destiny, you are powerful beyond measure, and I guarantee you that if you will keep diving for loose balls after graduation, that you will continue to lift yourself and all those around you to new heights.
I am deeply honored and humbled to receive this award tonight. My journey at Westmont hasn't been easy, but I've learned so much about who I am as a person and what it means to be a part of a team of individuals who genuinely care for one another and push each other to become the best version of themselves. Before I came here, I really struggled with choosing which school to attend. I had never heard of Westmont before, and I always thought I would go to a bigger name school, with or without basketball. Athletics is what initially drew me to Westmont, but it was the tight-knit community and rigorous academics that got me to stay. When I came into Westmont, I was many things: scared, anxious, sad, and now as I'm leaving Westmont, I'm still all of those things. I'm scared and anxious and sad, but also hopeful. Over my 4 years here, I've learned that I can believe in myself. I can trust my abilities and rely on myself to come through in tough moments, and that makes me more hopeful than I have been for a long time. If I could sum up all of the lessons I've learned over my time at Westmont into 3 sentences, I would say, I can do hard things, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to be afraid as long as you don't let fear stop you from living your life. 1, the first thing that I learned is that I can do hard things. My junior year, we did what was called the Ultimate Warrior Way Challenge. After 11 miles of challenges between the beginning of East Beach and the top of Gibraltar, I was pretty sore for the next 4 days. But I knew that whatever challenge or problem I faced going forward would never be as hard as what I did that day. 2, I've also learned that it's okay to fail. I remember running our conditioning test for the first time. I remember being absolutely terrified, and I was right to be. I remember failing it over and over and having to do extra workouts and taking it over again and still not passing. I also remember, though, how it felt when I finally passed it. The exhaustion, the relief, and the gratification of doing what I thought I couldn't. And lastly, 3, I've learned that it's okay to be afraid as long as you don't let fear stop you from living your life. This year, I had the opportunity to step into a leadership role for the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, or SAC. I was really reluctant to do it at first because I was scared I wasn't going to do a good job. I ultimately decided to do it, and I'm really glad that I did. Facing that fear and doing it anyways allowed me to meet some amazing people and grow in ways I wouldn't have otherwise. Westmont isn't an easy school, but that's exactly why I came here. I wanted to go somewhere where I'd be pushed and challenged, and I am so grateful to the people who have stood by my side these past 4 years. To my parents, thank you for your unwavering belief in me even when I doubted myself. Your sacrifices and support have brought me to this moment and have meant the world to me. To my coaches, thank you for seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself. Thank you for choosing me and building me up into the player and person I am today. To my teammates, thank you for weathering the storms with me, for the laughs, the tears, and all the great times we shared together. Lastly, thank you to the athletic department at Westmont. Doing my internship in your office showed me all of the work you put in every day and the dedication you have to making the student-athlete experience the best it can be. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Coach Josh Alt. I'm the men's and women's golf coach. In golf, pace of play is very important, so I will do my best to be fast, don't want to frustrate the groups behind me, and I do not want a penalty. We have a process in golf just before a player hits a shot in a tournament, and it's when a player and a coach interact. It's called the caddy conversation. Noah and Charlie both understand this process. They do things thoughtfully and carefully, and I'm sure that's part of the reason why they're here tonight. They do this on the course and off the course. The purpose of this caddy conversation is to help golfers focus on the process, not the outcome. Some of the steps include evaluate. The lie dictates the shot. That's what I was always taught in golf, because sometimes a tough circumstance alters the type of shot you want to play. You have to have calculations. So you have to know your yardage. So the next step would be shoot the pin, determine what you need to cover, if there's anything you need to go over, and what is your runoff, what is behind the green. Then you need to make adjustments because there's often variables. You must take into account the wind, the slope, and altitude. Finally, you choose what's called an optimal target. The goal is to find that target. Sometimes the target's not the pin. Often, it's not the pin. Often to Noah, it is the pin. But often, it is not the pin. No matter what, you have to be aggressive to your target, even if your target's conservative. You must be committed. These are two disciplined student athletes, and I believe they're both here tonight because they've successfully organized their own processes. They evaluate, they calculate, they adjust, and they commit, and before taking their shot on the course or in the classroom. Noah is our first Men's Golden Eagle Award recipient. Noah gets that distinction since we are a fairly new program. Noah was voted spiritual leader of the men's golf program, and he's instrumental in leading the first men's golf Bible study. Noah will graduate 1 year early, which is a testament to his hard work and industriousness over the years as a student athlete. Noah has great instincts. Noah can see shots that no one else can, literally. In his past spring event, our assistant coach came up to him, explained the prudent play, the caddy conversation. Noah listened intently, nodded his head, and when my assistant coach told him to punch it in the fairway, Noah saw clearly a different opportunity through the trees. My assistant coach stepped back, very nervous, very scared, and watched Noah hit a towering tee shot, approach shot, through the trees, onto the green in two, and had an eagle putt. He has great instincts and he trusts them. And he also considers what is optimal. Please welcome Noah Lodewijk.
Funny story, thanks Coach. Before I hit that, I didn't know he was gonna say that, but before I hit that shot, I told Coach John, Coach, close your eyes, you don't wanna see this one. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to be here and support such a great event. First, I want to thank God for the guidance and blessings He has given me. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Westmont College for this incredible honor. It is a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone involved. I also want to thank my parents for their unwavering support and encouragement. Without them, this wouldn't be possible for me. Just under 2 years ago, I was an incoming freshman at Westmont and had no idea about anybody on campus. All I knew was that I was here to play golf and get a degree. Over these first few years, I have developed friendships that will last me a lifetime. Finding people who will push me, people who keep me accountable, and people that I genuinely enjoy spending time with. Discovering where I fit in this great community, it has been nothing but a blessing for me. Westmont has provided me with the opportunity to develop over the past 2 years, and I don't plan on hopping off that train after graduation. That being said, I want to thank Westmont for establishing such a great environment to help their student athletes flourish and grow. It has changed the course of my life, so thank you.
On the women's side, Charlie Bloom is being recognized tonight because she is an excellent student athlete and a very talented golfer. Her best golf score was a 67 500 par. She also has multiple top 3 individual finishes in competition. Charlie is a high-performing student as well. She's been honored multiple times. She's very competitive in the classroom. I've known Charlie to have great relationships with her professors, which speaks very highly of her as a person. Charlie started the women's golf Bible study, and she carries herself with grace and calmness that exudes and reflects a be still and know that he is God type of relationship with her Creator. I know Charlie has a heart for missions work, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her light shine brightly across the world. Charlie was also voted team captain this year. This is her 2nd Golden Eagle Award. Please welcome Charlie Bloom.
Hi, I'm very excited to share a few words with you tonight. I'm very honored to receive this award and grateful for this opportunity. First and foremost, I would like to give a really special thank you to my parents, who have endlessly supported me through all of my golf endeavors. When we rolled into Poppy Hills a few weeks ago for a tournament, I realized that all of the wiffle balls I hit in my backyard with my dad finally paid off. I'm not sure how many miles my parents have walked watching me on the course, but I know without a shadow of a doubt I would not be playing golf without their support. The thing about my parents is that at the end of each round, they've always been proud of me, no matter the number on the scorecard. For that, I'm eternally grateful. Thanks for always believing in me. I'm also very grateful for just everything that I've learned through my experiences as a Westmont golfer. For the sake of all of our sleep tonight, I will just share one thing that I've learned. I'm sure you all have heard this before. Golf is a lot like life. And I'm here to tell you that it actually kind of is. Sometimes I get bad breaks when I hit good shots. Sometimes every single 3-foot putt just seems to lip out. And sometimes I just manage to put myself into nearly impossible situations, having to navigate through trees, water, and sand all in the same shot. But some days I just get downright lucky, which is why I think I shot 67 and haven't done it since. All that being said, the ups and downs of golf often remind me of the constantly changing circumstances we all face in life. The clear and simple truth I've clung onto has been this: God is with me. I'm reminded of this in many ways, but I received a text from my boyfriend, Levi, before one of my tournaments that's really stuck with me. I would like to end by sharing it with you. When you're playing today, if you ever get frustrated or you feel like you're in your own head, I would encourage you to take a second to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then look closely at everything around you. Look at the trees and the grass. Listen to the birds and the wind. Look up at the expanse of the sky and see how great God is. See the beautiful image He's painted over your head and His face smiling down on you through His creation. Feel His arms around you as you are perfectly contained in His world. And then breathe in the cool air He has given you as a sign of His love and faithfulness. And after all that, don't forget to look at His people, the very living, breathing images of Him. Maybe He'll give you a glimpse of just how sacred the people around you are. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to introduce you to Ben Bodine, whose biggest recommendation when he came to the team was that his sister had been on the team. He wasn't highly recruited, not recruited at all. But he's a kinesiology major. He's the captain of the track and field team. He's a 3-time All-American, and not in his 400, but in the 4x800 relay. And so what I wrote about him for his plaque is that Ben is a, in quotes, blue-collar worker, as a student, as an athlete, as an employee, as a teammate. He's about the only student I've ever employed who actually worked. And I didn't do it for them. He's dependable in every endeavor. He's a Christ-filled individual who is a trustworthy man of character and integrity. Mom and Dad Bodine, thank you for your 2 children who have been delightful in my life. Ben learned 2 basic things on the team. First of all, because he's a blue-collar type guy, he thinks trying harder will do it. And in running, it doesn't work. The saying is, try hard, run slow, relax, and run fast. And Ben would, if not tacitly, would tacitly disagree with me about that as he tried harder and harder. And then suddenly he got the idea, if I stand up taller and I quit trying so hard to run faster when I'm running as fast as I can, maybe I'll get to the finish line faster. And it started to work, and it was delightful to watch. The other thing he learned is to ask for help, to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't have the answers, will you please help me? We've had some walk-in talks where I thought, okay, we're going to talk about this, that, or the other, and it was more about life things. And I've been so delighted to see how a young man who thinks he's supposed to control the world and not have any issues and always win, let down, let God, and then be able to do exactly what he wanted to do because he quit trying so hard. So Ben Bodine.
The lessons I've learned from track are countless. How to handle nerves, the beauty of doing something you don't want to do. It's crazy how quickly my mind can jump from why do I do this as I prepare for a race to I can't believe I get to do this as I cross the finish line. It's taught me you don't get to choose when to work hard, and even when races aren't going your way or you pull a hamstring in the 200, there's still value in showing up. It's taught me the track doesn't play favorites. There's no riding the coattails of success when the next season rolls around. But the most impactful moments from my time as an athlete haven't been learned through the highs and lows of racing, but from the coaches I've been blessed to learn from. I love stories, so to give you a glimpse of the type of coaches I've had the privilege of running for, 2 stories. At the end of last semester, Coach Smelly asked to meet with a few athletes to talk about the state of our team going into competition season. In typical Coach Smelly fashion, however, he asked how I was doing and what the coaches could do for me to make track a joy again in the midst of a difficult semester. The burden I was able to release turned my season around. Coach Smelly, thank you for always saying, what do you need, or what can I do for you, and meaning it from the bottom of your heart. Thank you for creating a space where we can leave our backpack of worries, as you like to put it, at the fence and just see what we're capable of. The other story is about Coach Derek. We were at the national meet in Indiana, and things did not go my way. Coach Derek saw me visibly upset and put his arm around me and walked me away from the track. We ended up in the dugout of their baseball field, shout out baseball. And to make the Ben that played Little League happy, I wanted to throw out a pitch on a college field. So Derek took his stance in the batter's box, trusting a runner not to nail him with a baseball. Coach Derek, thank you for letting me vent the way I needed to, even at the risk of your physical well-being. And lastly, I need to thank my parents. There's no doubt that none of this would have happened without your encouragement. One of my favorite aspects of competition is calling or texting you after a race, and it's even better when you guys are in the stands. I'm so incredibly grateful for the memories and lessons track gave me, but most of all for the relationships I've formed and will treasure going forward.
Miriam Melkonian is our award recipient for women's track and field. Miriam is dependable and consistent, which makes her a leader among the women's team. She's honest about how the stresses of life are weighing on her day to day, but doesn't let them get in the way of doing her best. On a great day, she'll have a PR performance, and on a challenging day, she'll run just a few seconds short of that. I know that she will give everything she has when she gets on the line. That's why she was chosen to run in our conference meet this year for cross country. Earlier in the year, she was diagnosed with a femoral stress fracture, but that didn't stop her. She did everything she could, doing non-weight bearing activities to get herself prepared to run at the conference meet. She showed up ready for her team because there simply wasn't another option, than being someone the team could count on and ready when it mattered. Her encouragement and team-oriented attitude helps create a positive team culture, and that is why she is our award winner tonight.
Thank you so much. I want to share a story with you. It was the GSAC championship, my freshman year. The stakes were high. We had a shot at qualifying for nationals, and nerves and excitement were running strong. I remember lining up on that starting line, looking right and left, seeing my competition. I was terrified. But regardless of my own fear, the gun went off and the race surged ahead. It was a flurry of dust flying, elbows flailing, fans shouting, and feet pounding. It was exhilarating. Being an athlete at Westmont has taught me to enjoy the challenges that come my way. I was prepared for that race, whether or not I believed it on that starting line, because of the training and the routines that I had been performing every single day in practice. The discipline that running has taught me has transferred over to all aspects of my life, both on the track and in the classroom. That morning in Santa Clarita, I had lofty hopes for that race. There were so many things that I wanted to accomplish, but about 2 miles into the race, my steps faltered, my stride shortened, I veered to the side and in classic Miriam style, managed to lose my lunch. As I stood there heaving, one teammate passed me, then another. A hand patted my back. A comment of, "You good?" passed their lips. And after a little time passed, I gathered myself up, went back into the race, and finished. Life doesn't always go the way we plan. Unexpected trials and tribulations are bound to happen, but I have learned that with the teammates who have my back, who encourage me in my worst moments, I can still push on. The last mile or so of that race was a blur in my memory. I don't really remember tears streaming down my face or people cheering me on. I don't remember crossing the finish line or the water I drank afterwards, but despite what I might not remember, I do remember this. I didn't give up. I was mad and determined and got a slower time than I wanted, but I didn't give up. I may not have seen it right away, but over the years when I think of that race, I think of the perseverance that I had to see it through the end. Running at Westmont has taught me to value discipline, camaraderie, and perseverance both on the track and in life. I've learned to be diligent about the little things that I do so that I can face races and other challenges with confidence. I've learned the importance of surrounding myself with teammates and friends who push me to be better and grow closer to Christ. I've learned not to give up in the face of adversity, but press on. As James 1:2-3 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Thank you.
First thing I want to say, Charlie, that text from your boyfriend, just friendly words from a coach, it's a big time text. You got to keep him close. My name's Morgan Cathy. I'm the men's soccer coach here, and I want to convince you all that Jonah Houston is the best Golden Eagle Award recipient here tonight. And the reason and how I'm going to do that is I have more airtime from my 2-year-old on this slideshow than even my boss didn't even get a picture. My 2-year-old, I think, has 2 pictures up there. There's one thing when I'm talking to my 2-year-old, if he says the color is green and it's blue, it's very hard to convince him, no, he's very cute. So when he said green, okay, yeah, green, okay. When he says, my favorite, Jonah favorite, Jonah's the best, go Jonah. You can hear him from across the stadium, a 2-year-old shouting for Jonah. And so to my 2-year-old Duke, Jonah is the best. And you can't convince my 2-year-old of anything else once he set his mind to it. So Jonah, you're the best to Duke. So Jonah Houston is not just an incredible recipient to be honored tonight for this award. He is a young man that embodies everything that I believe we hope young men and young women embody here at Westmont. He values not just his educational experience and maximizing it to its utmost potential, but he values every part of the experience here at Westmont. And he doesn't just soak up the experience, he wrings it out. He gets every last drop out of it. I learned 10 years after I graduated from college that my college soccer coach had a name for me with the college soccer coaches. I didn't realize this until afterwards. He said, oh yeah, we used to call you Ferdinand. You know, the kid's book story, Ferdinand the Bull. Because he said, you know, you used to just, we'd always see more, you were a social butterfly. You'd always be around smelling, you know, the flowers and the roses. And we didn't know if your head was in the game or it was somewhere else. And now, Jonah could easily be described as the Ferdinand of our team. Everyone knows Jonah. I mean, that smile that is up there, I mean, it's unbelievable. But the difference between myself and Jonah is that Jonah not just has his head in every single part of his experience here at Westmont, he is excellent in every one of those aspects. So give it up for Jonah.
Well, thank you, Coach Morgan, for those very kind words, and congratulations to all of the recipients of the Golden Eagle Award. After getting the email from Jeff saying that I was nominated for the Golden Eagle Award, the first thing I did was look at the qualifications. One of the lines says, "The honor is given to an athlete for their accomplishments athletically, academically, spiritually, and socially." Now, I like to think I'm pretty athletic and doing well academically, and I definitely love God. But the word socially stands out to me. For those of you that know me, you know that I'm a pretty social person. However, sometimes I can be a little too social. Unfortunately, I've had multiple professors call me out in class because I was talking too much, and one professor even asked me to dance in front of the class because I was being too disruptive. And every single time I've been called out, I was talking to at least one of my teammates. My teammates are a big reason why I'm up here right now. I've been lucky enough to be a part of a program where I get to be with teammates that never fail to bring the best out of me. Whether someone is at a high or a low point in their life, they're always there supporting them. There have been countless memories made that will never be forgotten, like the time 2 players on the team lost in the game of double tap and had to hand feed each other pasta for the remainder of dinner. Or the time Coach Morgan spoke in front of chapel, and it was the first time the entire team sat in the front row in the gym. One thing Coach Morgan has talked about that has really impacted the program is legacy. He emphasizes the idea of leaving the jersey in a better place than when we found it. Every day, my teammates and I keep this in mind with the hopes that we are continuing the legacy of past players and will continue a legacy of our own making that future players want to be a part of. Without the love and support from my teammates, friends, and family, I wouldn't be standing up here giving this speech. They have helped me grow into someone I hope my past self would be proud to be, and I'm truly honored to be accepting this award on behalf of the men's soccer program. Thank you.
Sorry, Morgan and Jonah, but here at Westmont, we always save the best for last. My name is Jenny Jaggard. I'm the women's soccer coach, and it is my honor to introduce Taylor Scott to you today as our Golden Eagle recipient. I think it's very accurate to describe Taylor as a thoughtful scholar, a grateful servant, and a faithful leader. For those of you guys who've memorized Westmont's mission statement, you'll understand that she encompasses the trifecta of what it means to be a Westmont student. Taylor is a great scholar. She's a hard worker. She's dedicated to her team. I've done a lot of thinking about her. This spring, our team read a book called The Hard Hat, 21 Ways to be a Great Teammate. And literally every single one of those ways Taylor has embodied during her time here at Westmont. My very favorite one, though, is a saying in the book. It says, "Well done is better than well said." And And I think that perfectly embodies Taylor's career here. There's many people that talk the talk, that proclaim huge goals for their athletics, but very few that really have the consistency, the work rate, and the ability to endure over time to truly achieve excellence in something. And Taylor is truly excellent. As a student, she graduated, so she's actually a fifth year this year. She completed her liberal arts degree and then decided to stick out a fifth year to play with us this last fall, while also balancing a student teaching credential. So I've heard that that's a very difficult thing to do, and Taylor managed it very gracefully during a first-time season in Division II soccer. Taylor is probably the most decorated athlete I've ever coached. She's a two-time NAIA All-American. This year she was named an NCCAA first-team All-American and was also honored in the Pac West as a first-team selection. Taylor also set a record. I'm not sure she actually is even aware of this, but Taylor has worn the jersey for Westmont women's soccer for more minutes than any player ever in the history of women's soccer, over 7,000 minutes. And that's a testament to Taylor's consistency, her hard work, her durability. I just call her the Rock. She's the anchor of our back line. She's one of the best defenders I've ever coached. We're obviously greatly gonna miss her. I don't know how we're ever gonna replace her. I've got my work cut out as a recruiter. I'm just so proud of this kid. Not everything has been easy in her life. I think that it's through her 5 years here, she has gone through ups and downs, just like all of us. She lost a person that was very dear to her grandpa, during her time here. He was one of her heroes in life, and that was definitely something we got to grieve with her through that process. And then something that I think very few people know, while she's accomplishing all these amazing athletic accolades, Taylor finds out that she has thyroid cancer. And she ended up fighting that and overcoming that during her time here too. And you would have never known it. Like, she never missed a beat. The kid never missed. And there were never excuses. She always made a way to strive and to be excellent for her team. So I could not be more proud of Taylor Scott. I'm gonna let her speak some words now. So.
Thank you, everyone. You're doing a great job. You're in the 88th minute of a 90-minute game. You're doing great. Keep it up. Thank you, Jenny. Also, very, very kind, and I'm going to get to thank you later, too. So, my journey to Westmont actually started as a journey away from Westmont. I had an older brother who was at Westmont, and when I was in high school, I said, I will go to any school in California except for Westmont. And then my senior year, my parents were living in Minnesota, and they said, will you go to a Westmont soccer camp? And I thought, I get to miss school, I get to go to California in December. Okay, fine, I'll go. And that was kind of the beginning of the end. I met the girls on the team, and my life changed. I thought, wow, if this is the place that I get to be to hopefully end up like them, then there's nowhere else I should be. And that was the first of many lessons that I learned at Westmont, that God's plan is so much better than one that I could ever dream up. And I've had to learn that lesson over and over and over again. But it's a good one to be reminded of. It wasn't too long later before I learned another lesson, the first week of training camp. And we had a big fitness test. And I remember the first time I took it, passed out, laying on the track, holding my assistant coach's shirt in my hand, saying, let me run, let me run. And so the next time I had to take it, I was so nervous. And I remember waking up 3 hours before, listening to worship music, praying, doing all the right things. Ran, passed. I didn't once acknowledge what the Lord had given me, the ability to run that test. And it wasn't until weeks later that there was a senior on the team who didn't get much playing time, never started except for senior day. And she was someone who weeks later was still having to run this fitness test. And I remember when she finally passed, she didn't accept one high five, one hug. She turned around after crossing the finish line, walked over to the corner of Lovick Field, got on her knees, and started praising the one who had given her the ability to run. And I remember that being a huge wake-up call in my life. And it's still something I think back on every single day. And she taught me that the relationships that I was going to make with these upperclassmen who were going to show me the godly woman that I wanted to be someday was important, but it wasn't as important as the relationship with my Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's something that I will never be able to thank them enough for. And I think that's very evident for the type of people that Westmont attracts. I'd like to thank Jenny for trusting me as a freshman, even when I went in my first game and scored an own goal, the winning goal for the other team. And for some reason, she decided to put me back in the next game. And so I thank you for trusting me over 5 years, and can't thank you enough.
I just have a really short memory.
I'd also like to thank Dor, my assistant coach, who helped me walk through some of the hardest times that I've been through in my life, for welcoming me into your family, allowing me to be an aunt to your boys, and then Dan, who isn't able to be here, but who has invited me to more movies and dinners with his wife Karen than any of my friends, and is just a rock of wisdom in my life. And then finally, my parents, who were willing to give up 23 years of weekends to take my brother and myself to basketball and soccer and baseball tournaments, and who are taking a red eye out of LA tonight. So thank you. Definitely cannot say that enough. And thank you for the Westmont community, for supporting me and all these other student athletes. We definitely could not be here without all your support and love. So thank you.
Well, what an incredible group of young men and women, huh? That we got the chance to just get a glimpse of tonight. Let's give them one more round of applause. I'm going to go off script a little bit here, but I was just thinking, as Charlie was talking, that like golf is really just this reflection of life. I feel like what we're seeing tonight and hearing tonight is maybe like pulling back the curtain a little bit to let you in on the secret that Westmont athletics is actually not about sports. And I think you've picked up on that, but it is about growing young men and women into all that they are capable of becoming, and being able to leave Westmont with both the skill set and the character to go and make this world a better place and to shine God's light in all sorts of places. And I'm grateful to be a part of that process. We talked about our theme this year being rooted to rise. And part of why we picked that theme was that we are in this transition where everyone's saying, we're moving up to Division II, and it's gonna require more of us, and we're gonna need more growth. And just that recognition, that understanding that in order for us to rise to a higher level, in reality, we've got to make sure that our roots are deep and that continue to grow deeper to sustain the growth that we hope to have. And there is a group of people in this room that haven't been thanked yet, that have really set those roots for these young women and men in place throughout their lives. So parents and families, will you please stand up so we can say thank you to you. thank you, obviously, for helping them grow roots and also understanding that you've all made sacrifices for your sons and daughters to be here having the Westmont experience. And thank you for entrusting us to kind of take that baton from you and hopefully help encourage that process in a continually growth trajectory. Also part of those roots, and Robert mentioned our E-team, just as far as what we do in athletics, we couldn't do it unless we had support from the top, and we have so many of our E-team members here tonight. But at the lead of that is President Beebe, and before I introduce him, I do just want to last thing, because he's going to close out the night for us, is that when we finish, if coaches and athletes can come up for a picture, we would love to just get a picture of you with your award up here, so that we can give that to you and you can have it to remember this evening. But as we talk about those roots and keeping us rooted in the things that Westmont really values, it really starts at the top with making sure that we have that support from the president. And many of you have been here before, so usually it comes out either in my introduction of him or him talking about his own experience, but he was a student athlete, and in his life, he experienced what sports grew in him as far as him being a leader, and the things that he's had now carried with him for life because of his experience. And so just to have someone who understands, Gail, we are just so grateful for your leadership, and as we try to take this next step and grow into a program that can have excellence in the NCAA now, as we go there, we know we've got the right man leading the way, and we're just grateful for all the things you do for us.
Well, we do a number of events every year, and Pam and I always love coming to this event because it is the celebration of the best of Westmont and really putting athletics in its proper perspective of recognizing that we learn how to sublimate our own ego to really join with teammates, pursuing goals, trying to win, coming back so often from defeat, from injury, and really having to develop a character that learns to prepare and then learns to perform. And I just want to stop and thank so many of the people that have made Westmont great. And Pete and Gerd, thank you for starting this event 30 years ago that's truly a celebration of the best of Westmont. And it allows us to elevate the values that really run the college: rigorous academics, deep love for God. I love competitive athletics. I believe in competitive integrity. And competitive integrity means that you learn how to win, but you learn how to win the right way. You learn to live within the rules. You learn to sacrifice, and you learn how to celebrate when you win. I think about different places in the trajectory of the college where athletics has been off base. And I remember as I was coming, Pam and I were coming in the summer of 2007, I received a letter from one of you telling me about some of the problems. And one of the most significant changes that happened in our athletic program was a result of Dave Odell really helping us get back on track. Many of you have been a part of the athletic program the entire time that Pete and Gerd have been involved, but it takes people with responsibility and with willpower to actually keep things going. People often ask me, how do you work every day? And I work every day because things don't happen automatically. I know all of us wish we could put it on autopilot. I think Adam's first initial sin was believing life could happen on autopilot. And when you put things on autopilot and you don't wake up committed to do your best, that things begin to drift. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens eventually. And tonight is a celebration of how we keep things on track. the proximity that the coaches get to live to their players, even with the restrictions of NCAA Division II, figuring out how to come alongside them. The joy that you can see between the coaches and their student athletes. Most of my experience of coaches were negative, just constant belittling. It was another era. People refer to it as old school. It was, just the death knell. But I loved coaches that actually treated us with respect and really encouraged us. And even though they were rare, they're incredibly memorable. I remember thinking about Dave taking over the program, and then as we got ready to transition to Robert. And I am just incredibly thankful for Robert Ruiz. And I think Robert just deserves a huge round of applause for the work that he does. I just think it's something where, again, you have a person who knows how to win, now looking after every program, and really determined to bring the best resources, the best people to shape each team and the athletic experience of each player on each team. We are just so fortunate to have great people at every part of the athletic program and literally at every part of the college. Some of the other thoughts that always strike me, one of the things that I learned from athletics, and I've always said you could learn it a variety of places, but I learned it from athletics, was how to come back from defeat. And so much of life is not that things went your way the first time, but you figured out how to correct having gone off course. And tonight is a celebration. Listening to the stories is just so memorable of you never made every shot, you never hit every line drive, you never made every tackle, you never made every goal. I remember as many of the times that I missed as the times that I succeeded. But what I do remember is the joy of playing alongside teammates that together cared about the purposes of the team. And so many of those ideas, so many of those values that were actually embedded in me in competitive athletics have shaped my leadership philosophy. And I do believe that so much of the success of the college and of our current run is a result of understanding the role that happens in life as a result of competitive athletics. We are making this move to Division II. I was recently asked, somebody found out that I'd met Phil Knight. I'm a native of Eugene, lifelong Oregon Duck fan. And they said, were you able to get money from it? And I said, didn't even try. And I said, I'm not trying to get money from Phil Knight. I'm trying to get Westmont's version of Phil Knight to give money to Westmont. And it's really my hope that as so many of our student athletes go on to enjoy success in life, that they really will give back and will invest in helping us build a long-term endowment that gives us the resources so that our coaches can be fully funded in every area that will make us excel. I do think that the way in which we earn the right to be heard is by winning in ways that the world respects. Not winning just to win, but literally winning so that we have the platform. And Kirsten, I think you just said it so beautifully. The secret is this isn't all about athletics. It's about life. It's about purposes greater than ourselves and learning to serve them. Thankful for each of you. Thankful for the incredible work that our coaches do. Thank you for your love and support of the college. Thank you for your love and support of Westmont Athletics. Please join me now and we'll close our time in prayer. But just again, thank you so much. What a beautiful evening. Please join me in prayer. Gracious Lord and God, we give you thanks for this day, for the opportunity to serve you and literally to serve your purposes through our work at Westmont. Tonight is such a wonderful cross-section of the college community. The parents who love our student athletes, the student athletes themselves, their coaches, the select faculty that are really just pouring their life into our students, not only shaping their intellect, but shaping their character. The administrators who love the purposes that we serve, the opportunity to create a great college that honors and serves you, And then Pete and Gerd and Gary Cunningham and others, members of the community who really love what we're committed to. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to celebrate these amazing student athletes, more importantly, to honor and celebrate you. Christ, I pray these things. Amen. Thank you so much. I think we have pictures. Yep. Is that it? All right. Have a wonderful evening.